Hello one and all, it's a review of Dr. Stone, Chapter 154, Spy vs. Spy. And this chapter definitely upended my expectations. I mean, after how the last chapter ended, it seemed like they were going to end up doing like one big battle. Suku's team versus Stanley, winner takes all, and somehow sweet, dear, adorable goddess Suka would find a way to save the day and take out this trained killer. But no, essentially what we're left with is Miss Luna attempting to lure Dr. Taiju out into the open to be shot, while Senku is attempting to use her to gather information which he can use to provide to his team, who are far away so they can attack the enemy's base while the assassins are currently targeting Taiju, who they think is the smart guy instead of Senku. Yeah, this is definitely a spy battle, spy versus spy, as the title describes it. It's a battle of deception and trickery, and I just absolutely freaking love it. I thought this was just going to be like a 1 or 2 chapter thing then done, but no, I definitely see him doing like 5 to 20 chapters just on this battle back and forth, trying to provide covert information to Suku's team while trying to deal with the spy they have in their own base. And of course, Jen is still a spy over in Dr. X's lab with Olga guarding him. Oh yeah, speaking of Olga, let's meet the new cast. Starting off, we have Miss Luna, who has stars in her hair and has a star-shaped crack mark on her lower back. I actually really like the design. I think it looks really cool and feels appropriate for her. That also does just go back to something I've been saying for a while. People have been saying, oh, Dr. X is going to realize that there are people on Senku's team who don't have crack marks, who were revived or who were born in this world. But I mean, crack marks can literally appear anywhere. Yuzu has one on her shoulder, this girl has one on her lower back. So just because Dr. X doesn't see a crack mark doesn't mean it's not there. I mean, actually, The one issue is probably Jen. If Dr. X realizes that Jen's crack mark is fake, that he painted it on, that could be an entirely different story and be very problematic. But I don't think it's very likely that Miss Luna is going to find all the strange other people there without visible crack marks, when hers is, like I said, on her lower back. Anyway, as for Miss Luna, she seems to be she's a weirdo. She's definitely a weirdo. It seems like she's trying to come off as, like, super mature and intelligent when she really isn't. Like Stanley keeps correcting her. She's like, yeah, of course. I knew that you meant. I was just testing you. And it just seems to be the idol of the American Kingdom of Science, because then we see Carlos and Max, and they are clearly in love with her, almost worshipping of her, as they seem to be competing for attention, trying to show off which one of them is superior, which one of them is better suited for her. So that's interesting. They also seem to be in charge of carrying the water, which is a interesting thing. I mean, they packed a lot of water here. I don't really know why, though. I mean, I kind of get it. Stanley's all set up with a sniper rifle to take out Dr. Taiju, and that could take a few hours to a few days to get done, and, you know, water is more important than food, but this much water, it feels like there must be another purpose other than just, you know, them waiting out for a chance to take a shot with a sniper rifle. But we then get a closer look at exactly what Stanley's plan is here. Measuring temperature, humidity, wind speed, all of that. He's preparing everything, getting it all right for his sniper rifle. And Jesus freaking Christ, this thing looks terrifying. Though it doesn't look quite like a modern sniper rifle, it definitely seems different. It's interesting how worried Stanley is about getting the shot precise. I mean, he brought Miss Luna all the way here just so that she can be used as a measuring mark to make sure he doesn't miss. And I'm just not sure why, because even if he misses with a sniper rifle, it's not like he couldn't fire again. I'm clearly seeing what looks to be a magazine in the bottom of the rifle, which carries, you know, multiple bullets in. It would take a second or two to, you know, pop out the other bullet, pop in the new one, but not all that much time. So I feel like even if he was a little bit off with his first shot, he could counteract it with his second shot. I mean, I remember watching an episode of Criminal Minds, I think, where they were trying to profile a sniper, and the logic they basically explained was that after the first bullet's fired, everyone kind of, like, stops for a second, completely freezes, and turns to try to figure out and turns, try to figure out exactly where the bullet came from, what that sound was. So, yeah, even if he missed the first time, everyone would kind of be like confused by the sound of bullet, stop for a second, and then he could fire the second time. It makes me think that maybe this sniper rifle overheats or takes longer to reload than that. I definitely think there's some kind of flaw with the rifle that's gonna keep him from firing repeatedly. Or maybe just worry that if he misses the first time, they'll get below deck soon, and then he won't be able to get in a clean shot, or... I mean, maybe he just doesn't want to kill more people than necessary. I mean, I'm really not sure. His justification for attacking the machine gun fire was essentially just to show the overwhelming difference in strength they had in forcing them to surrender, so I'm not sure if he was really going for the kill back then, but... just really hard to say. And it's very clear that Miss Luna really isn't on board with the whole let's kill them plan, and she's kind of horrified by that statement and only, corrects herself when Stanley stares at her with murderous intent. And then she actually finds out her entire purpose of being here is essentially to be a ruler. Oh my god, that is actually sad. Yeah, her striped dress was created essentially for the purpose of standing next to the target so that Stanley wouldn't miss. What the heck? I mean, seriously, that's just, next step precision there, and I'm very, very curious about it. It also, really puts Luna in danger. First off, because, well, essentially she's standing literally right next to the guy that's gonna have his head blown off. And secondly, because, as soon as that happens, as soon as the leader gets killed, then she's going to be the target for everyone else in the ship who are going to be very, very angry at her for essentially luring them into a trap. I also do just love that Stanley was so worried about her clothes getting a scratch on them so that would ruin his marksmanship that he wouldn't even let her carry water. But in order to pull off the whole I'm a escaped refugee thing, she covered herself in dirt and mud, rubbed herself on the ground, and just appeared panting and crying and in a very unpleasant manner on this page. Hopefully that doesn't ruin Stanley's accuracy too much, or, well, she just might become his target as well. And then, oh god, this I absolutely love right here in the corner. Mose and Kurosami. I mean, we know Mose is a player. He had his whole harem way back when. So he's just instantly after the girl, and Kurosami just has to tell him not the time or the place. I love that. I love these two relationship. I mean, they were working together for years and years, even if they did kind of try to kill each other. So, yeah, I'm very excited to see more of these two interacting. That's going to be hilarious. But what was even funnier is good old Senku. Are you hurt, miss? Have no fear, you're safe now. Please come on to our ship. As he goes full-on charmer mode to try to get her secrets out of her. And I mean, it actually looks like she is charmed. I could seriously see Miss Luna falling in love with Senku here and now, and that would be the funniest thing in the world. Her just obsessed with him, her in love with him, her just doing anything he asks because he's the man of her dreams. That would be absolutely freaking hilarious, and I would love it. I do also just love that Taiju says he's going to put her below deck to provide the first aid. That way they aren't above deck where they can be easily shot by the sniper. I'm also just curious how this is going to work out because, Senku's shirt literally says E equals MC square. And Taiju's does not. So is she going to assume that Senku is Taiju? That he actually is the scientist? I mean, how exactly are they planning on going along with that ruse with her here? Trying to convince her that, I'm just Senku, I'm just his assistant, I don't really understand any of the science or math he's always spouting about. I mean, none of us really do. The whole thing, am I sure that was his idea? I mean, no one on this ship is all that good of an actor. I mean, Taiju did a fairly impressive job convincing Dr. X he was a scientist. The whole language barrier that helped, but that was just for a short phone call. In real life, I have a hard time imagining they're gonna fool anyone. Also, but just curious, Senku's gonna realize that is why she's wearing a striped shirt, to provide a better aim for them. I mean, this is Senku, I could certainly see him recognizing that, but if that's the case, what's really, how do you counter a sniper? I mean, the only thing I've ever seen, in any work of fiction that focused on this was either bulletproof glass or a counter sniper. I mean, I really, really doubt they can make a sniper rifle in the limited time they have right here and now. I mean, if so, though, I would absolutely love to see Kohaku firing one. That'd be hilarious. And other than that, maybe, I guess they could use some sort of mirror magic to make like a fake hologram looking thing to make it appear that Miss Luna is standing on top of the deck when she's really below it, and that'll cause Stanley to fire, but it won't actually be her, and it'll be just an illusion instead. I mean, that does make a certain amount of sense. I'm not sure about that, though. And then Senku reveals his monstrous plan to extract all the information he can out of the girl and then send coded messages to Sukatha and Special Forces. It's spy versus spy. Black-hearted schemers trying to outfox each other. And then Yuzu's like, oh, I told you it wasn't what it seemed. I mean, yeah. I actually amazed that these people were just so overwhelmingly convinced that Senku was just like that easily swayed by a cute blonde. They know Senku, right? I also do just love in the background of his whole evil little villain monologue. I'm fairly certain that's the Enigma machine from World War II. It was essentially how the Germans sent coded messages, and breaking it, figuring out how it worked, was essentially what kept them from winning the war. Very important part of history, and I'm sure Senku can figure out some way to create something like that that'll allow him to send coded messages to Sukasa's team. I mean, I'm just not sure how he would do it. I mean, it would be better if they had, arranged a secret code ahead of time, like, hey, if I tell you to go north, go south. If I tell you to go east, go west. I mean, just something like as simple as that would be very helpful right here, but hard to say exactly how he's gonna do it now. I mean, Senku and Tsukasa do have a certain amount of trust. Even Senku and Hyoga have a certain amount of trust. They have battled with each other enough to know what the other one's almost thinking without them saying anything. So I'm sure that Senku can say something that'll tell him exactly what he needs to do without revealing what it is to Dr. X, who is obviously listening in. And there's still a question of what Jen has planned, even while he's being babysit by Olga. Honestly, next chapter is going to be very, very intense. Like, seriously intense. I'd like to speculate more, but I really don't know what else could happen. I definitely think Miss Luna is going to end up falling in love with Senku, even though she thinks he's just the gullible assistant, and somehow they're going to convince her that Taiju is the real genius here. Somehow, some way, I don't know. But yeah, let me think all down below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and like the video. And until then, peace!